So a TEFL qualification, just to take it back a step, so the word TEFL is actually an acronym for Teaching English as a Foreign Language, or simply to teach English as an instruction for non-native speakers. So that's basically what a TEFL qualification is. In order to become TEFL qualified, you need to complete a TEFL certificate with the likes of the TEFL Academy. In terms of how a student could benefit from such a qualification, particularly for a high school grad, becoming TEFL qualified, it allows you to teach English, be that abroad or online, and there's really so many possibilities that provides to a graduate. So for some context in terms of the English language teaching market worldwide, it said that 20% of English there's 20% English language speakers that is not their actual native tongue in the world. So that's about 1.5 billion people worldwide. So naturally that creates a massive demand for further English learning, and basically this creates jobs. So in terms of how students can benefit from such qualification, it can provide like a stable income, give you that post-matric independence, and teach you so many kind of transferable skills such as time management, self-sufficiency, communication, leadership, all these kind of things. And on top of that, it's a really great way of earning money in a difficult employment landscape, as we all know. So currently TEFL teachers can expect to earn between 200 and 600 rand per hour. So, particularly for a post high school graduate, it's a really great avenue of work. And as I said previously, you have the options of whether you want to, travel abroad. There's lots of demand for English language teachers in say in Asia, in Europe, places like this, but also travel. Not everyone has that sort of desire or even sort of possibility. So teaching English online is also a great option. It's a great question, and it's something that at the TEFL Academy we really pride ourselves in. That kind of international accreditation piece. So to explain that, the TEFL Academy was the first TEFL provider in the industry to be regulated both by the UK government and by the US government. So in the UK, our courses are regulated by Ofqual, which is the UK government department that's in charge of regulating various qualifications and study programs in that country. And also in the US, our level 5 TEFL course is DEAC approved. So the DEAC is basically an arm of the US Department of Education. So we have that regulation piece covered in both the UK and the US. So these qualifications are recognized worldwide. And in terms of minimum requirements for the course, so for the course itself and for to go on to teach. So I put it down to a couple of things. So it's basically open to anyone that is either a native English speaker or has a C1 level of English that might not be a native speaker. So it's not just a case that if English is your first language, you're the only one who can actually go on and teach English. As I said, so non-native English speakers, have that possibility as well, but they just have to be at a level of a C1 grade of English. We generally recommend also that as a minimum age for completing a TEFL course, we'd recommend our students to be at least 18 years. And that's primarily down to the fact that employers that they look for that as a minimum age. Sure. So in terms of the curriculum of our courses, there's a number of core modules that we cover. The thinking around these modules is basically to prepare you for that moment of truth. It's the first time you come before a classroom, and you know, it's for anyone. It's a new kind of possibly scary moment. But what we would say to our students is that you have the confidence that that moment of truth you'll be completely prepared for. And I'll tell you why. Because basically through our various modules we cover teaching English language skills, simplifying English grammar. So English grammar obviously is a huge component of learning the language itself. How to plan lessons. So that's often a requirement of schools, that you submit lesson plans, and it basically just gives you structure to your classes and your days and your weeks. Another module would be things like how to manage a classroom. So you know, we all know there's different dynamics at play within classrooms, and you know, basically it's important to be taught in a proper way how to manage various scenarios within a classroom. Another one would be identifying learning styles. Everyone has a different learning style. So through this module, you'll be able to kind of identify different learning styles and how to teach accordingly. And then also how to build effective learning materials that you can use within a classroom scenario. In terms of what sets us apart from other course providers, there's kind of three main reasons. So as I mentioned previously, our regulation and accreditation status kind of sets us apart in the industry, that we basically have the approval of the UK and US Departments of Education. So that means that by taking a course with us, that you're basically equipping yourself with the strongest possible course, the strongest possible qualification that you can gain within the teaching sector, the English language teaching sector. And this in turn will allow you you'll be ready to take up basically the best paying jobs within the space that have the best conditions. The second point that I would say would be our on-hand tutor support. So whether you do our online course or our combined course, as you're working your way through the teaching materials, you'll have tutor support basically at hand for whenever you need. So, you know, in terms of asking questions, receiving, you know, feedback for your work, etc. And our tutors are really, you know, they're the best qualified in the industry, and they're basically on hand to help you whenever you need to help you get through the course itself. So it's not a case that you'll start your online TEFL course and you're basically trying to work through it yourself. You'll have that kind of real life support by our tutors. And then I'd say after, like, the third main point of what sets us apart would be the fact that we basically help our students post qualification to take up the best jobs that they can. We do this through things like CV support, vetting recruiters, and just being like a helping hand in that step post qualification, which is really important. You know, if you're to start your course, say you get it done within a number of weeks, and then you're basically ready to look online at different jobs that are out there, be that online or teaching abroad. So it can be daunting, you know, it can be a daunting prospect, you know, when you're new to the space, but our customer support team are exceptional at helping people through and ultimately making the best decision for them in terms of what and where they go on to teach, basically. Yeah, so it's obviously a very frustrating time in terms of in terms of options for post matric. So what I'd say about teaching English as a foreign language is that the opportunities it provides you and the accessibility of getting on a course and going on to teach are just, it's such a great option, particularly in that stage of your life. You know, it might be a thing that you do for a couple of years, and then you go on to do something else, into a different career. But often case people, you know, it's a great kind of step into the teaching world generally. So often people will start by teaching English online and then go on to teach in other sort of settings. I'd say also that, you know, it's not for the faint of heart in some ways. Like teaching, as we all know, teaching it's a difficult thing to do. But if you have that attitude where, you know, you have that positive attitude, you're enthused about, you know, imparting which is like such an important life skill to give to someone, you know, the gift of the English language. You know, if that's something that excites you, I think there's so much possibility for someone in that kind of, in that sort of headspace, basically. So, you know, what I'd say to students or matriculants is that, like, just consider it as an option. I'd advise them to check out the TEFLacademy.com, where you can read through a wide number of alumni stories, which are really, really interesting. Just different stories where different people end up teaching, and, you know, be that online or in the likes of Asia, Europe, these kind of places. So I think, you know, there is really a world of opportunities when it comes to teaching English, and you know, post TEFL qualification. So yeah, I think I'd just encourage anyone just to check it out, give it that consideration, and yeah, who knows, you could be, this time next year you could be teaching English in Japan, who knows.